wondering for a while what the first video on this channel should be, and I don't know why, but it just makes sense for me to put this up. Not because it's topical or not because the episode just came out, but I have so many emotions about it. And this usually never happens. I mean, I have a lot of shows that I'm obsessed with, like The House of the Dragons and your usual, like, high fantasy stuff. But this just hit home. I don't know why. So let's talk about Hacks, the finale episode. Just to start off with, I thought the episode is going to begin with Deborah performing her set in Central Park. Or even if it was going to be fast forwarded to a different timeline, I thought Ava was going to be on set and she was going to finally break the news to Deborah that she's pitched a show inspired by their dynamic. And there was going to be this final scuffle of whether Deborah was going to allow that show to happen. And somehow I thought that Deborah was going to play the part of the older heroine that was going to be a part of this show. But it's so weird. I think they should have some laws or some guidelines pertaining to decency on what they could put so suddenly, because not even 10 minutes, but like 5 minutes into the episode, they break the news that this character that we've carried through with us for over 5 seasons is just going to kill herself because there's a mass of cancer that's spreading in her. That's crazy. That itself broke me. But then the fact that Deborah being Deborah, she was going to kill herself in Zurich, that was absolutely debilitating. Not for the same reasons, not because I have a parasocial attachment to the character, but it has been so portrayed that she values her connection with Ava most in her life. Sure, her daughter got one episode, DJ, I think, but chosen families are underrepresented in my opinion, because ultimately, especially in a country like India, actual blood ties are revered above everything else. And so to make it seem like chosen families, and not even completely romantic ones, I mean not even slightly romantic ones, can matter this much is very heartening for me to watch. Just the fact that Hannah Einbinder's character had to go through this now, after it seeming like everything was fine. So debilitating. It was extra debilitating to me because Deborah takes Ava to Paris as a part of her last hurrah, or it was really debilitating because Deborah takes Ava to Paris as a last final hurrah with Ava. In general, seeing so much beauty and taking a break from your regular work with the people that you love after having accomplished everything that you want to should seem life affirming. She should come back more rejuvenated. And I think Ava knows this in the heart of her hearts, and she thinks that having these new experiences out of the workplace could reaffirm Deborah's will to live, but it doesn't. And I think, as someone that has been overweight for the last 10 years, I've been postponing my plans to travel across Europe for the longest time now. I've always postponed it year after year, thinking I'd become thinner, I'd become muscular, I'd look hot, and then I'll take all of these pictures in Europe because it's probably going to be a once in a lifetime experience, so I should optimize it, and then it's going to be very enriching. But it's not for Deborah. Because while beauty, or revering, or putting beauty on a pedestal is largely considered a shallow thing, but I think there is an intellectual side to it as well, in the sense, how a great piece of music moves you to tears. I think just like just like that, beauty also, you know, appreciating beauty is largely regarded as a very shallow thing to do. It's been offered to us in several TV shows where even Rachel in Friends doesn't date this person who looks like a hobo, but then he just says some people are just into looks. Um, it is largely shallow, and these are tendencies that can be overcome. But just like a great piece of music or a wonderful nostalgic smelling perfume can move you to tears, I think great beauty can also reduce you to tears and almost decimate you, because the one aspect of appreciating beauty in one instance is the recognition that you're going to leave it in the next moment. I mean, even if you do take a trip to Paris, I think the awareness that you have to return would seep in. That's also a reason why I've avoided going there or taking on these trips. And I'm just saying, I'm not prescribing that you should look for only beauty, but I'm just saying there is an intellectual or a slightly deeper aspect to appreciating physical beauty in a person or in buildings and architecture, nature. It is, it has a severe impact on you as humans, because just like your ears and your nose, your eyes are also a sense, and when they sort of become appeased to a point that is unbearable, I think it can move you to tears. I sound like a horrible person now. But, you know, Ava has all of these experiences in Paris, but that is still not good enough for Deborah. And I think that's just saying something about priorities can shift. When Deborah is ready to die, even then, that one last spark that brings her back is that wonderful joke that she cracks. And it again brings her back to work. And they're obviously suggesting that she'll get another chance to work with Ava, and so maybe that's why she has postponed her plans to die. But I think more than Ava, it was about the joke itself, that she realizes she's not done yet. She still has a whole set in her, and so until she's reproduced that, she can't just die. And so I don't know what I'm trying to say. You might just think it's a whole word salad, but the episode sort of moved me to tears. Everybody's performances were wonderful, but just the fact that the thing that we hyper optimize so much isn't always life affirming, and also when you're ready to give it all up, this sudden surge of motivation can strike you from anywhere. I think that's also a reason why I started making this video in such a short notice. I think, well, also the one part in the whole thing that I did not like was um, Jimmy agreeing to distribute his distribute that movie through the man that screwed over Deborah, Billy something. Um, I just think in the last episode itself, he had threatened to decimate Deborah and make her life miserable should she continue to perform in shows. But I think giving that man a redemption arc so quickly without too strong a reason was a little weird for me. But you know, it's not it's not entirely out of the scope either. I mean, I think Jimmy's just trying to make it work for him, and Jimmy's a wonderful person, and so is Kayla. So that also was nice, and of course, Kayla's character was delightfully quirky and amazing as usual. So it was just a very, very good show. I'm really glad that they decided to end it at the right moment and not stretch it. But the shock aspect was very well done. It was like a very dark joke that doesn't offend anyone, and that very rarely happens.